Is Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Critter Country? Was Mel Brooks supposed to be in Sunset Boulevard? Is the best theme park restaurant in the world in the Lost Continent? Have you ever heard of these three lands? If not, you're in the right place because today we're covering forgotten lands and theme parks. Let's go. Welcome to Parkgoers Go, your podcast for all your theme park needs. I am your host, Dustin.
I'm Logan.
And I'm Nate. No, wait. And I'm
You
Nate.
were yawning.
Yeah.
Do it again.
And I'm Nate.
Well, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in each theme park, there are lots of lands. Can you name them all? Probably not, because there are so many lands in so many parks. A lot of them people kind of forget about, and so do the parks. So today we are going to be covering some lands that are considered forgotten or just, not really well known.
Remember me.
Yeah, this is kind of a tribute to them, I guess you can say, or at least bringing attention.
They're not gone.
Okay, fine. Well, not yet. So here are the three that we are going to cover today.
Critter Country. Don't put that in. Critter Country at Disneyland.
The Lost Continent in Islands of Adventure.
And Sunset Boulevard in Disney's Hollywood Studios.
The Lost Continent that truly is lost.
Lost to Potter. So we're going to start with the oldest land and smallest. The good old Critter Country. Logan, take it away.
Thanks.
No problem, buddy.
This little land is the place to go to forage for fun and round up wild time, at least according to Disneyland's website. It was first known as Indian Village when it first opened in 1956 and was actually a part of Frontierland, showcasing Native American culture. It then transitioned into Bear Country in 1972, adjusting the theme to more of the forests of the Pacific Northwest to bring about the Country Bear Jamboree attraction. Thank you. Then in 1988, the area was renamed yet again to Critter Country in preparation for Splash Mountain that came about the following year. The next change came in 2001 with the closure of CBJ, or the Jamboree, and replaced with the Winnie the Pooh ride. As of May 1st, 2024, this little land has been down for ongoing enhancements coming, primarily for bringing about Tiana's Bayou Adventure to Disneyland, which for this little land will be I say little land a lot.
It's a little land.
Okay.
It is a little land.
And for this patch of grass, it would be nice and a long needed upgrade. Since Tiana is one of only 3 attractions in that area, which the other being Pooh and then Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes, it's a pretty easy walk by.
That's a lot of interesting stuff. I did not know that Critter Country was actually a separate land before it was Critter Country.
Yeah, it's a little patch of grass.
No, the Indian Village. I mean,
Well, it really wasn't because Indian Village was a part of Frontierland.
Oh.
So it was never its own little, it was all Frontierland, that whole area.
Gotcha.
I wonder why they
And
separated it.
that's why like the Tom Sawyer area is still considered a part of Frontierland.
Oh, Tom
But then
Sawyer's.
there's New Orleans and then there's this one.
Oh, interesting. So another thing. So you mentioned that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is a welcome and is a nice and long needed upgrade to Critter Country. Now, what do you mean by that? Because I personally see it as just another nail in the coffin. I mean, an attraction and a show, which was Splash and Country Bears. Then when Country Bears went down, it had 2 attractions, and now it only has 1. So I'm not sure what you mean by...
What do you mean it only has 1?
Oh, just Winnie the Pooh. That's it, because Tiana's now part of New Orleans.
Right.
No, I mean, there's still, at least the way Disneyland is... Because when you look up Critter Country on, like, Disneyland, Tiana's is the first thing that shows.
Ah, wait, so is Tiana sharing lands?
I don't know.
Because it could be like New Orleans with Tiana, but then with all the new critters they added to the ride, I guess it could.
It is kind of confusing.
It kind of makes sense though, because the Tiana's thing, I guess, happens in the swamp, right? So maybe that's the gist.
Well, and so I was reading a discussion about Critter Country, and someone called into question the fate of Critter Country about a year ago when they first announced like Tiana's Bayou, and some were saying that it's kind of like the back end or like the swamp, like it is the bayou area of New Orleans, so it fits where it's at, and it is kind of this like transition between the two areas. The other discussion was about then what's going to happen to Critter Country. Are we going to expand into it and it's just going to all become New Orleans Square, or even cutting it there and then an expansion from Galaxy's Edge? Ooh. Since Galaxy's Edge is like right there into that kind of transition area. But I think that would be really hard to do in general because it's like right there. Like you can't really control that piece too much. I don't think they would ever do something like that,
especially with the Rivers of America, whatever that body of water is, like being right there. That'd be kind of weird with Galaxy's Edge like kind of expanding though. They'd have to like block off that entire view. I also assumed that Tiana's was going to be part of New Orleans because it's Tiana, but I kind of like that idea that it's still kind of part of that foresty, nature like section, and then you have Tiana's Palace, which is the food service place, still part of New Orleans Square because it's obviously in New Orleans. So it's kind of like same IP. To me, they go hand in hand, but it's like two different sections. That's so cool.
Wow, that really just opened my eyes to perceive Critter Country slightly different. Wow, yeah, no, that I really like that idea.
You're welcome.
So in your research, where do you see the future of this land going, and what are some ideas or what are some concepts that you think might help reinvigorate this land?
So I had a couple ideas that I was knocking around. In my head, I am seeing or kind of in agreement about like how Tiana's Bayou is really like an extension of New Orleans Square. So kind of leaning into the idea that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is taking its part as more of with New Orleans Square. That kind of just leaves Critter Country with Winnie the Pooh and Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes. What I would really like to see is a little bit more IP here and maybe another dark ride. Maybe even taking us back into when it was the Indian Village and bringing back some of that, showcasing Native American culture, perhaps a rebranding of the canoe rides with either Pocahontas or something more culturally accurate to represent the Native American culture. If we did go with a Pocahontas theme, maybe we can put some of the little critters like Miko. The other idea that I had was bringing Bambi into this area since it has those forest elements, but that's what I have.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I'm not like 100% behind having everything be an IP, even though I do love the Disney IP and it's Disneyland. But Davy Crockett does seem a little out of character with Critter Country, maybe a little more Frontierland. So I think a retheme of that would be kind of cool and very easy to do.
Now, what do you see with the future of the land as is?
I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to, because it seems like for right now anyway, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is still a part of Critter Country. If it is a transitional piece between the two of them, that's great. I don't know. Some of those ideas I was reading about really made me question if that is the route, and if that is going, because it's been rethemed so many times, Critter Country itself, and has taken I feel like it's had a pretty core like center of like forest outdoorsy animal themed thing, but now that it's I'm kind of seeing this development towards that I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards essentially an expansion of New Orleans Square, or like all full out like bayou area, and just really leaning in that way.
Do you think that is more likely than, say, like the Star Wars land or Galaxy's Edge coming in from the other way?
Yeah, because I think there needs to be a transitional period between something as drastic as Critter Country and Galaxy's Edge.
You don't think it naturally blends together?
No, not really.
I love the transition between Critter Country and Galaxy's Edge, going under the bridge and everything like that.
I don't know. Maybe they can even come up with something better than just that little walkway tunnel thing. But that would be cool. If they could do that, then maybe I would want an extension. I mean, I would. I completely take that back. I would love an expansion of Galaxy's Edge.
Right. And I mean, what's a positive, though, is that either way, whether New Orleans takes over Winnie the Pooh or Star Wars takes over the Winnie the Pooh could still stay, because if it's New Orleans, then instead of celebrating his birthday, they can celebrate Mardi Gras. Or if Star Wars takes over, then we can just set him on Endor and then add a couple of Ewoks in there. So it works either way. But no, I agree. I mean, Disney has a decent amount of IP that involves critters. Like you said, Bambi, Pocahontas, Brother Bear, Fox and the Hound.
Brother Bear. I always forget about Brother Bear, but I do remember it being one of my favorite movies. And I always forget that it's a Disney movie.
Yeah. And also, one thing real quick, because I was just looking this up. You didn't mention it, but... apparently I was trying to look into the construction that they were doing in Disneyland right now to see like what kind of enhancements they're doing. So it seems like they're really leaning into the Tiana's like IP, because according to this, which I think is just public information at this point, but the Briar Patch, which is going to be closed, is transforming into Ray's Berets, which is actually a really cute name.
I like it.
And it's going to be a place for guests to shop for headwear, apparel, accessories, toys, and more. And then another store that's coming is called Lewis's Critter Club, which is supposed to be, I think, on the left or right side of the current Pooh ride. It's going to be another just retail store where you can buy home goods and other items, apparel, things like that.
Right. I don't know. I honestly think Critter Country is only still alive because they don't want to move Pooh. Like, Pooh's still a good ride. I feel like once Pooh goes down, then they'll get rid of Critter Country.
It'll just be the Bayou at that point.
Well, they'll just make it New Orleans, I guess. But very good. All right. Well, that was Critter Country. Still kicking, and honestly has a better bill of health than I thought before we started talking about it.
That definitely has.
So I learned something today. Well, did somebody else have something to say?
No, I was just going to say that it definitely has a better bill of health than this land.
Right. Okay. So now we're moving on to Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood Studios.
I thought we were going to do the Lost Continent.
We are now moving on to... Yes, Nathaniel, would you like to elaborate on that and take it away?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Dustin. Did you think when I said I was referring to Sunset Boulevard by saying not a good bill of health?
I was gonna bring that up afterwards, saying, "What do you mean?"
Jeez.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Well, I'm excited because I'm going to be talking about the Lost Continent. For those who don't know, the Lost Continent is a land in Universal's Island of Adventure in Florida. It opened in 1999 with the park, and it's basically an island where ancient myths and legends become reality. So there's a lot of focus on Greek gods, ancient beasts, and archaic magic. It's a pretty cool land. It's very detailed, like everything that Universal does, but it's divided into two subsections currently. You have the ancient Arabian marketplace called Sinbad's Bazaar, and then you have the Grecian Atlantis-esque Lost City. There used to be a third land, which was called Marlinwood, but was later replaced when Harry Potter World came in. I'll just quickly go through the three lands, and then we can kind of discuss it. But starting from the first one, the Lost City. So the Lost City, again, really leans into that Greek gods, especially Poseidon, feel to it. It's also home to this restaurant called Mythos, which, if you don't know, they also have a huge banner outside, but it's rated. It was voted the best theme park restaurant by Theme Park Insider for 6 successive years. And they won't let it go. But it is supposed to be a very good restaurant, so I'll give it that. And it's also very well themed. The Lost City also has a previous attraction called Poseidon's Fury, which was basically a walkthrough show attraction. It had a lot of special effects. Most iconically was that water tunnel. It would like shoot like jets of water and make like a little tunnel that the guests would walk through. which was really cool. The basic story was you're following this archaeologist and venturing through the ancient temple of Poseidon, which is the Greek god of the sea, and then you're kind of caught into this like colossal battle between him and an evil lord called Lord Dokinon. I haven't seen the show. This attraction closed into 2023. I'm sad I haven't seen the show because I feel like I would have loved it. It had fireballs, it had lasers, water, everything. It seemed pretty cool. I don't know. Have you seen the show?
I haven't. I've seen the video. I've seen videos of the show.
I have. I've seen the show. I've seen it live.
Is that as awesome as it sounds?
It was cool. If they updated it, like the with the what is it, the digital effects, then I think it'd be really cool. It was a very long walkthrough, but all the effects and especially the guide was really funny, really fun. The end was very dated, so I understand why it wasn't a hit. But at the same time, I think if they gave it a little more love, I think it could have been something great.
Yeah, and the closure definitely bodes for what's to come. But before we get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about the other lands. So I mentioned that there was Sinbad's Bazaar. So Sinbad's Bazaar is still there. It's an Arabian marketplace, some Middle Eastern influence in the Lost Continent, and it's named after the legendary adventurer Sinbad. Right now, there's really not much at Sinbad's Bazaar. The only attraction there is called the Mystic Fountain, and this is the only attraction left of all the Lost Continent. It's just an interactive fountain which kind of like talks to guests, spits water at them, plays music. It's just like a fun little interactive thing. Other than that, really, there's just the Halloween store, which is called All Hallows Eve Boutique. Not sure what Halloween has to do with an Arabian marketplace or anything in this land per se, but it is a really cool shop and there are a lot of Easter eggs there, so I'm not mad at it. And then there's also like a kebab house. But really cool, in the past there used to be a stunt show called The Eighth Voyage of Sinbad, which was a live action show located in Sinbad's Bazaar, but closed in 2018, and then the stage was eventually demolished in 2023 to make ways for an extended queue for Hagrid's motorbike adventure. The stage actually looked really cool. It had like these huge shipwrecks with like these cool like cave-like rocks all around it. It was very grand. That's another thing that I haven't seen, but I probably would have really enjoyed. Logan, I don't think you've seen that either, if I'm not mistaken.
Seen what?
The Sinbad's Eighth Voyages. The Eighth Voyage of Sinbad.
The Eighth Voyage of Sinbad. What was that? A live stunt show.
Logan just completely checked out.
It's hard paying attention.
You have to.
Okay.
I'm trying to
no,
engage. I'm trying to engage
I
here.
have not seen the live action stunt show. What about you, Dustin?
I have not. No, I do. I have heard some great things specifically from our sister about it. But no, I never had the pleasure.
I was going to say, it's super interesting just hearing about all these things too, because for me, this is a walkthrough zone to get to other things.
It's a hallway.
Like, it's so cool. I love walking through it because it's so like grand and it is very immersive and everything, but ever since I was little, it just never struck me because we never really stopped by for it. We always just kind of walked through it. So, I mean, not that there's all that much to do, but yeah, especially now.
Well, I will say that I agree with Logan that the parts that we've mentioned were more of a walkthrough until you get to the next part, which is, I feel like, what most people came to the parks for.
Right. So the third land, which is now long gone, so I guess you could call it the Lost Land in the Lost Continent, is called... It was called Merlinwood. And Merlinwood was said to be the home of Merlin, the wizard, the mystical wizard on King Arthur's court. It was a mystical land which was home to the fan favorite Dueling Dragons roller coaster and the basically kiddie coaster Flying Unicorn. This entire land was basically wiped out to make way for Hogsmeade and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So Dueling Dragons eventually it was rebranded to the Dragon Challenge, so it did live on for a little bit longer. Until it was closed in 2017 for, again, Hagrid's motorbike adventure. And then the Flying Unicorn... Yeah. And then the Flying Unicorn was just rebranded or rethemed into Flight of Hippogriff. But yeah, I mean, the land is gone, but it's kind of cool. I I do know that Mollenwood was pretty cool back in the day and people really liked it. But it's kind of cool that it's the most magical land became the most magical land at Universal, which is Harry Potter World. But I think it would have been cool to see Mollenwood. I didn't get to experience any of this because I didn't go to Universal until after COVID, so all the stuff was gone. But yeah.
Yeah, I was able to experience all of it except for the Sinbad show, and it was really cool. I think one of the most attractive things about it was that
Sinbad.
Yeah. Oh. No, that fountain though. No, the thing that or not most attractive, but one thing that was attractive about it was that it wasn't based on any specific IP. It was very much a public domain section, which allowed them to take a lot of liberties, but also be very creative with certain choices that they made. So I thought that was really cool. Now, did you have a little bit more of backstory information of the land, or am I allowed to share some information I know?
You can share, because I don't have anything else.
Thank you. I've heard this multiple times from multiple different people, and the timing wise makes perfect sense, so I have no reason to doubt it. What has been said was that this park was being built around the same time as Animal Kingdom. And as we all know, Animal Kingdom has different lands to their park, but one of the lands they were going to have was Beastly Kingdom, which if you look at any of their logos, you can see a dragon on there. Well, because of budget cuts, they, cut out that land, and rumor has it that a lot of the Imagineers that were laid off during that time when they were cutting budgets were then picked up and hired by Universal, who was making Islands of Adventure at the time, and that the concept of the Dueling Dragons roller coaster was originally supposed to go in Animal Kingdom, but because it fit so well in this Lost Continent land, then they ended up taking their work over there. Once again, how much truth there is to that, I believe 100% that, of course, people who worked at a theme park, Imagineers who worked at a theme park at Disney who were laid off would absolutely work at the nearest theme park, especially if they're going to hire them. And there are a lot of parallels between, the Beastly Kingdom ideas and also the Lost Continent. So, I feel like there's a lot of validity to that, but it's also very interesting because, if it doesn't mark the beginning of Universal starting to compete more aggressively with Disney, then I don't know what is.
I don't know how I'd feel about a beastly thing in Animal Kingdom. They did bring Pandora, and I do love that, so...
I was going to say, on paper, Beastly Kingdom makes a little more sense than Pandora, but,
Bite your tongue.
Well, on paper. Like I said, on paper, I think it looks fine. But obviously, look at we got Lost Continent, which is, dying, versus Pandora, which is thriving. So they're opening up a second franchise location. So it's one of those things. So
unfortunately dying though. Honestly, I do think that the Lost Continent does not have anything to offer really now, besides maybe the best theme park restaurant. But it's such a cool land to walk through. It's so grand, and that's what I think Universal does really good. Everything's so big, and like you really feel like you're in there. But it does feel like it's on its way out. They kind of just keep reducing, and not really say what they're going to do with the stuff that they take out.
Well, here, let me ask you this question, or these two questions. What do you see as the future of this land, which you kind of already answered, but I'm still asking. And then what are some ideas that you can see Universal putting into either this land or this area that would either revive it or just make the area better?
Yeah, that's tough. I'm going to answer your second question first and say I really don't think Universal has any intentions on saving the land or revitalizing it. I think with giving half of it away to Harry Potter already and then continuing to close down attractions, I don't know. I don't really see them kind of going for it. And also, I wonder if other people are even asking for it to stay. I am. I think it would be really cool. But I think that most people would automatically assume that they'll probably continue to extend Hogsmeade. Me personally, I don't think that that's a realistic vision for the land because, what else is there to expand? Are you going to, put in the Scottish Highlands or something like that? There's nothing else in Hogsmeade, in my opinion, that could go in. So I don't know. I really think that eventually we're gonna see this land kind of be wiped out. Maybe they'll do something kind of like what they did for DreamWorks Land and have like a little mosh posh, because it's not a small land per se, but it's not huge.
What is on the other side of it? Is that Dr. Seuss?
Yeah, so it buffers Dr. Seuss and Hogsmeade.
And also Jurassic Park, yeah? Or no?
No.
Oh.
No.
I think it's only 2.
Okay.
I feel like if they're going to do anything, let's open it up, expand Hogsmeade, maybe throw in another ride.
No. Or expand Seuss Landing.
No, that's okay.
Well, I mean, we don't...
Seuss Land is already decent size. If anything, I mean,
Right,
I
but
got
it
some
only
notes
has-
for Seuss Land.
It has one e-ticket, which is the Cat in the Hat ride, which needs some love. And then it has the 2 small ones. So, yeah, I guess it does have all the attractions. So, yeah, you're right.
Looking at the map now, though, of like what kind of covers the Lost Continent, well, Poseidon's Fury is actually huge. I didn't realize that the building was actually that big. It's a pretty decent sized land. And then the Hogsmeade Station is kind of bleeding into it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, right now there's just the marketplace and the Lost City. And it is lining Jurassic Park, you're right.
Oh, it is?
It's just another bridge.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I wonder if they did throw in another IP, like what would fit that area?
What I thought they could have done, but they already started elsewhere, was a Minions area. I think that would have been the perfect place. It's right next to another kids spot, but they already put that in the front of Universal right when you walk in. So, but I'm not bitter.
Jump scale. Can you imagine the jump scale of leaving Hogsmeade and then being faced with millions of minions?
Just a minion right there. I mean, it could be Illuminations. You can throw in the Secret Lives of Pet. Right, that's already,
You could, but I also think that given the theme of Islands of Adventure, I don't know if the Secret Life of Pets fits into that theme.
hold on.
It's very
But hold on.
adventurous, though.
But hold on. Illumination land right there, because you know what else Illumination did?
Tell us.
The Grinch, the Lorax.
Oh my
They already have a hand in Dr. Seuss. So, guys, let's phone them up. Let's call Universal right now.
I mean, that sounds cool in theory, but I don't think I want that.
No, I don't want that either.
Yeah. I don't really have any ideas. A lot of people really want a Legend of Zelda, which would be very cool,
Right.
but I don't see that happening. If anything, that's going to go in Nintendo Land.
Yeah. If that's going to go in Florida, it's probably going to go in Epic.
They can turn that into a Sesame Street area.
But Sesame has its own place.
Well, first of all, Sesame Street has a licensing agreement with SeaWorld and Busch Gardens.
Do they?
That group. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Sesame
Oh, that
Street.
is so funny.
Oh, yeah. No, but Nate's right. There's also a Sesame Place in Pennsylvania where it's just that. But also, Sesame Street is also owned now by Time Warner. I think Time Warner bought them at some point. So if they own the licensing agreement, Harry Potter right there. So, yeah. I mean, my personal closing remarks for this land is I do think it's very sad. And I also think you could perceive this land as a win because it's based off of stories that were timeless and still are timeless. So you would think the land would be timeless. And it's also nice to have a land that isn't based on specific IPs all the time. Like they're kind of, unique to just the parks. But then again, I guess the civilizations that were based off of these mythical places, they are now lost to time or soon will be. I do think that fountain will make its way into something. Maybe Harry Potter Land. Oh, well, it looks like we are getting some breaking news from the Q Crew, our reporters out in the field who give us a switchback skinny about various lines in various parks. So let's go see what they're up to. It looks like we are flying over Orlando, more specifically Universal Studios. On the ground with us today is Stan Shun and Mur G. Point. Stan and Mur, can you hear us?
Yes, Dustin.
Reading you loud and clear.
Fantastic. So tell us, where are you guys? I'm trying to pick up the audio in the background, but the music sounds a little alien to me.
And you would be correct, Dustin. We are here at the premier Little Alien Ride E.T. Adventure, located next to the entrance of DreamWorks Land and across from the Animal Actors on Location show. I am deep in the line nearing the end, and I have to tell you, I am over the moon.
Fantastic. And how's the traffic looking in there, Mur?
Honestly, it is nothing to phone home about, with an average of 33-minute wait and a lot to keep you occupied.
Incredible. Well, we're going to hop back on in a moment with you, Mur. But right now, let's go to the front of the attraction where Stan is standing by. Stan, tell us a little bit about the attraction. What could one expect when walking up to the ride?
Well, Dustin, the E.T. ride is a family-friendly, slow-moving, dark ride that flies through a forest and to E.T.'s home called the Green Planet, a journey totaling 4.5 minutes.
Now, is there a height requirement for this ride?
Great question, Dustin. Yes, there is. You have to be 34 inches to ride with an adult and 48 inches to ride by yourself.
Fantastic. Now, from the marquee, what else can you tell us about the ride?
Great question. Walking up to the entrance, you can easily see the ride access information and entrances to both the standby line and the express lane for those who wish to skip the line for an extra charge. There's also a gift shop directly to the right where the guests exit the ride.
Well, thank you, Stan, for that information.
Absolutely. And if you need anything else, I'll be right here.
And now we're going back to Mur, who's waiting in the queue in the thick of it. Can you tell us about the experience? Walk us through the queue.
Well, Dustin, once you walk under the marquee, you enter a series of outdoor switchbacks that have posters from the movie, as well as screens showing clips and trivia about the film on the walls. As you make your way through, you find yourself at closed doors that open to a small room with monitors that show a pre-show of Steven Spielberg asking you to help E.T. return to the Green Planet to help save the planet and his friends. After the video, another set of doors open to a room covered in production stills from the film. Everyone queues in smaller lines in front of the podiums where team members ask you for your name and hand you your interplanetary passport. As you leave the room, you walk through a dark tunnel where you exit into a dense nighttime forest. Continuing through the line, you will meet E.T.'s teacher, Botanicus, as he tells you of the planet's troubles and how they need E.T.'s help. One can also see fun things, like E.T.'s communication devices from the film, a waterfall, and an owl. You then make your way to the team member who will ask you for your passport, where at the end of the ride, E.T. will give you a shout-out as you depart back to Earth.
And just to be clear, this happens every time?
No! Depending on the length of the queue and other factors, the pre-show, passport, and goodbyes may be skipped.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like you're about to hand off that passport and mount the bikes, so we will leave you to it. This has been the Q Crew signing off and telling you to be good. Well, that was very interesting. Have you guys been on the ET ride?
Of course.
I love the queue.
Well, I will say my favorite part is the queue.
The queue is fantastic. I recently got Logan a candle that smells like the queue of ET.
That actually is one of my favorite parts of the queue, is that incredible scent. I mean, I feel like everybody who has ridden it knows exactly what I'm talking about.
But anyways, the what is interesting tying everything together is that I feel like ET and that whole kids section, I think it was called Kids Zone way back when, and the animal show right next to it, I do think that whole area was kind of forgotten for a long time, but now they've opened up the Fievel play set and the Barney show and the incredible Curious George playroom. They rethemed that all to DreamWorks stuff, and I think that's a positive. I do think it's going to be a fun little land back there, and so far so good.
That's where the Shrek land is, right?
It's not Shrek land. It's part of DreamWorks land, but they do have a Shrek meet and greet.
They have his whole swamp.
Yeah, but there's no ride for Shrek. They got Shrek, Trolls, Kung Fu Panda.
They got the farting slide.
Yes.
It's just the three.
Yeah, the only ride is with the Trolls.
And then they have a show that has, I think, all of them together.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they don't have what is it? Madagascar didn't get any love.
Oh.
I think they might have Julian in the show, But I mean, for a franchise that put out 3 films, I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit more with it.
I mean, it's a pretty old movie.
Well, so is Shrek.
Yeah, but Shrek is like iconic.
Yeah, I guess. So I guess that is an example of a forgotten area dying and then we're getting revived with a new facelift. So, and now we're moving on to the last one that's very near and dear to my heart. It's Sunset Boulevard in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Logan, pay attention.
No.
In an attempt to beat Universal Studios to developing a movie-centric theme park in Orlando, Florida, MGM Studios opened on May 1st, 1989, with a handful of attractions like the Great Movie Ride, the Backlot Tour, and that's it. At this point, then CEO Michael Eisner figured the park needed a little more pizzazz, a little more oomph, a little more everything. Thus beginning the push for more attractions and more shows and more lands. The first of which being a small street branching off the main street, which was called Hollywood Boulevard. Many ideas were thrown around for the park's first major expansion, one of which being an homage to Mel Brooks films, with the main attraction being a haunted hotel inspired by Young Frankenstein, referred to affectionately by the Imagineers as Mel's Hotel. Although the land idea would not come to fruition, the idea for a haunted hotel stuck and would find a new identity in the Twilight Zone. Ultimately, the land's theme would become a continuation of Old Hollywood, thus creating Sunset Boulevard. The land opened 30 years ago with Twilight Zone Tower of Terror and the relocated Theater of the Stars, showing Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Old Hollywood was cemented into the park and thrived with the new land, but that wouldn't last long. Over time, the company started to notice that people were leaving the park earlier than the other parks. After some thought and collaboration, Eisner tasked the Imagineers to come up with an idea for a nighttime show that would keep guests later, but it had to be larger and more spectacular than their other shows on property. With the tram tour and other attractions taking up most of the real estate, it was determined that the area behind Sunset Boulevard would be the best place for this new spectacular, and in October 1998, Fantasmic was born. Later, Disney would conceive of an idea for its first launch coaster as a way to appeal to its older, thrill-seeking crowd. Once again, when looking for land to build the attraction, Sunset Boulevard would prove to be logistically the best. And in 1999, the modernly themed rock and roller coaster starring Aerosmith opened. By 2014, the Backlot Tour, Grand Avenue, and the New York Backlot had closed and been demolished. And in 2017, the Great Movie Ride was also closed, thus ending the old Hollywood theme everywhere except for Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. Across the country in California, California Adventure would develop the Cars Ride Radiator Springs in 2012 that would feature some impressive animatronics. Almost 7 years after that animatronic model would make its way to the now renamed Hollywood Studios in a show called Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. When looking for some open land to put the attraction, you guessed it, Sunset Boulevard. And now we come to today, where in this old Hollywood themed land, we have a haunted hotel, a nighttime spectacular, a Beauty and the Beast show, a giant guitar roller coaster, and a race car that doesn't go anywhere. Guys, did you know this land was called Sunset Boulevard?
No.
I did, and I will not stand for the Sunset Boulevard slander. I love Sunset
Slander! I just want to make this clear. I also love Sunset Boulevard. I think it has the best rides, and I think it has some of the best shows. My beef is more or less, I guess, speaking toward the whole of Hollywood Studios, where it kind of lost its step when it came to theming. But with that being said, I do consider this a forgotten land because, A, I feel like a lot of people, or at least a decent amount of people, don't realize that it is considered a land and that it's named Sunset Boulevard. And also I feel like it was kind of forgotten by Disney as a company because there hasn't been really anything new added since Rock and Roller Coaster, and the things that have been added since it was created really don't fit and more put there just for convenience.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think that it loses some of its theming. I feel like it doesn't really hit the nail on the head of being Hollywood-esque. I do think that it's a very pretty street. Like, it's a very pretty land. It's probably one of the prettiest parts of Hollywood Studios, in my opinion, with, the palm trees and everything, and, the tower. The Lightning McQueen was an interesting choice, I gotta say.
It's so far tucked back there too. Like, most people don't even know it's back there.
I could not, if someone asked me for directions, I would just have to say at the back of Sunset Boulevard, because I have no idea how you would even get there.
Yeah. I wouldn't even tell them that. I didn't even know. First of all, Sunset Boulevard to me is just the stretch. It's just Haunted Mansion. I mean,
a whole nother park.
It's just Tower of Terror. Like, that's all it is to me. It's just a strip that is lined by palm trees to get to Tower of Terror.
When I was younger, always thought it was still the main street, Hollywood Boulevard, except for it just curved.
Right.
Because I don't know why I thought that. I think it's because the road ends. You know what I mean? Like, the road curves. Because there's no road that goes straight up to...
Right. They're both very similar. I mean, Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard could be... I mean, you just switch them out and you kind of get the same vibes.
I didn't even I didn't know that it was a land. And the only other reason that we knew it was there is because I wanted to see the Beauty and the Beast show.
Yeah, but fun fact about the Beauty and the Beast show.
Uh-huh.
Complete, not really related to what we're talking about, but the Beauty and the Beast show opened November 22nd, 1991, which was also the same day that the Beauty and the Beast movie came out. Isn't that kind of cool?
No way.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No, yeah, it's true.
Wow.
I learned this the other day. They opened the short little show that they show at Hollywood Studios on the same day. So you could either have seen it in theaters or
spoil it for yourself at Hollywood Studios or MGM.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is interesting that you brought that up too, because like I said earlier, the Theater of the Stars where they show that live performance used to be on Hollywood Boulevard, which is the main street of Hollywood Studios. So during the construction, they destroyed it and then they rebuilt it over there. So yeah, you're right. The live action show of Beauty and the Beast actually predates Sunset Boulevard. And I brought up the Mel Brooks thing mainly because it was the only thing I could confirm, because I remember hearing a rumor way back when that Sunset Boulevard was actually going to be themed after Mel Brooks films, and that the reason why they picked his films was because he covered every genre. So like Spaceballs, sci-fi, you got the Western with Blazing Saddles, you got the horror with Young Frankenstein. I remember thinking, that's actually not a bad idea. That kind of makes sense. And that they ended up axing it because they thought his films were too much for a younger audience, which ended up not being true, or at least not to that extent. I found out, once again, like to be confirmed, that Jim Korkis, who is a Disney historian who's written multiple books, actually tells the story about how Michael Eisner wanted Mel Brooks to come work for Disney and make films for Disney, and therefore offered him an attraction. But yeah, so when it comes to Sunset Boulevard, do I think the land is dying by any means? No, I do not. But what I think is the future of the land and where it's going to be going, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the name Sunset Boulevard is going to last very long.
Really?
Yeah. I think at some point it's going to leave. And based off of what Disney has done in other lands, I think eventually we are going to see that whole branch become rethemed, with possibly the exception of Fantasmic.
Oh gosh, I really hope not, because I really like Sunset Boulevard. Sunset Boulevard has some of the best shopping, I think, in all of Walt Disney World. Wait, real quick, I actually have another fun fact about Sunset Boulevard related to shopping. The Once Upon a Time shop in Sunset Boulevard is located in a building bearing the name Carthay Circle, which is really cool because the Carthay Circle Theater in Hollywood was where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered in 1937, which is, seen as like the new era of the Disney studios.
Yeah, and to top that, if I remember correctly,
oh my goodness.
No, to add on to it, not to top it, when you walk into that store, they're playing a recording from the opening day of Snow White. So
that's even cooler. I know
that.
Right?
It's just on a loop. and it's very cute.
That's cool. I don't think that I don't foresee anything happening to Sunset Boulevard.
All right. Well, let me follow up on why I think it's going to get rethemed.
No. Bye, everyone.
No. So here's the reason why I believe it will be rethemed. Because the 2 e-ticket attractions that are on that boulevard or in that land have already been rethemed in other parks. And not only have they been rethemed, they've both been rethemed to the same franchise. So if you're following what I'm talking about, we got Tower of Terror in Disneyland has been rethemed to Guardians of the Galaxy. And that Rock and Roller Coaster in
Paris
has been rethemed to an Iron Man experience. So I know there's that whole thing, or at least they say, what is it, east of the Mississippi?
It's not going to happen.
They can't touch Marvel. But, I mean, I don't know. I can't foresee Universal and Disney not being able to work something out in the near future where Disney can't get the license back from Marvel.
I do think, now that you point out, I do think it's funny that both of those rethemed attractions all together, like it would be the perfect place to put a Marvel land, especially in Hollywood studios, you know, the land of having these like, you know, movie franchises.
Would be pretty cool.
I love the Guardians ride in California. I think it's amazing. But I think if they got rid of another Tower of Terror, people would lose their minds. And I will say, for people who don't know why they can't do it, or I guess in a sense why they won't be able to, because I don't think we ever explained it. Basically, there's a contract out with Universal that they have the theme park. They used to have the theme park right to Marvel, but there's a contract that says that they are allowed to keep the current rights that they have, because Disney obviously bought out Marvel some time ago, but they're allowed to keep the rights that they have if it's already present in the Universal theme park east of the Mississippi River. So basically, that's why in California, which is west of the Mississippi River, they're able to have characters like Iron Man and Spider-Man and all these other Marvel characters that you see at Universal's Island of Adventure. But the way that Disney has gone around it in the past with Epcot's Guardians of the Galaxy is because Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't exist in Islands of Adventure. So technically, they could rebrand, you know, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster with different Marvel IP. It could be Guardians if they wanted to, but it wouldn't be Iron Man. They could do like, I don't know, Captain Marvel or something like that.
That could actually work too. So just to recap, I think the bones of Sunset Boulevard will remain. I think it might get reskinned. I think it might get renamed. But otherwise, I do think it is a forgotten land in the sense of, you know, what it was originally versus what it has become. Yeah. All right, cool. If you guys agree with what we were saying, let us know. Or if you have other lands from other theme parks that you think have been forgotten either by the guest or by the creators themselves, please comment and let us know on our website or on our Instagram. All right, so that was it for this episode of Parkgoers Go. Remember to follow us on Instagram and on Spotify. And feel free to visit us at parkgoersgo.com. We'll be back next Monday with a new episode. And we'll see you in the parks. And see you in the parks. Adios, amigos. And see you in the parks.
Wow, you got one good take at all.
Bye.